Today we have Shaun Kehoe on. I'm actually really excited to bring Shaun on because his story has been amazing. But most importantly, he was one of my second ever clients that I ever worked with. He was introduced from a colleague of his to me. And I remember when I first met Shaun, I used to go to people's houses to do nutritional consults. Shaun was one of my first clients, and I went to his apartment and we did his consult there. Shaun has made a huge transition, not only in work life, but in life. He's accomplished many aspects. He's climbed over many mountains, and I'm not going to take away his bio from him. So I'm going to let him kind of just explain his bio and tell us a little bit of his journey and, what he's doing now. So Shaun, welcome to our cast here. Tell us your bio.
Well, I'm a personal trainer. I've been wanting to do it since I was a kid. A lot of stuff got in the way. I was diagnosed with hydrocephalus when I was a baby. It's a neurological disorder. I had a bunch of brain surgeries. Then I was diagnosed with epilepsy when I was 17. And when I met you, Harry, I was having a lot of seizures. I think I had 3 the day you showed up.
Yeah, you had 3 in the actual consult itself. And at first I didn't know what was happening. And then the second, third, and then when you explained to me what was happening, I was like, oh, okay, that's a seizure. Gotcha.
So I got into fitness when I was a kid. I was a big wrestling fan. I saw Hulk Hogan working out one day and I'm like, oh my God, I want to do this. And I got totally hooked on it. That's all I wanted to do. But then all my medical problems sort of gotten in the way of me being a trainer. When the epilepsy got out of hand, I couldn't go to school. I couldn't go to work. I was having like 15, 20 seizures a day. I can't remember anything. It was a complete blank. Back in my mind, my whole life, I'm going to be a trainer. I'm going to be a trainer. It's going to happen. After 9 brain surgeries, 15, 20 seizures a day, every med under the sun, all the nutrition changes we made, fitness, and I got my epilepsy under control. Started working as a trainer part-time, worked a 9 to 5, did the personal trainer thing for a while, did both for years. And it was actually COVID that made me go to where I am now. I'm like, wait a minute, I got one life to live. I want to do what I want to do. I quit my government job and I started running my personal training full-time. And then I realized all the help that the exercise gave me when I was going through my epilepsy. So I work mainly with people that have disabilities and medical conditions and people that are told you can't work out or don't feel safe in the gym. And I'm trying to make them feel more comfortable and give them the other benefits of the gym.
So if I'm correct, were you off high school then? So did you get pulled out of school because of all of the surgeries and
college.
The epilepsy?
So I got through high school, and then the epilepsy got out of hand when I finished high school. I got through 1 semester of college. Then the seizures just got crazy. I had a brain surgery. And the seizures went away for 8 months. We thought it was over. We were all set to go. I went back, and then all hell broke loose. I started having like 15, 20 a day. I had to move back in with my dad. We had to live in an apartment because I couldn't have stairs. So I kept falling down the stairs, having seizures. And it got crazy. From 20 to 25 years old as a blank. I don't remember very much.
And so were you in college taking fitness program?
They didn't have it back in Algonquin College. I was taking recreational facility management. Personal training wasn't what it is now. I was poking at them to sort of start something like that. So I'm not going to say I'm the reason they have the PT now, but I was mentioning it when I was there. After about 2 years working my admin job, I'm like, wait a minute, I got one life to live. I want to be a trainer. And I went and did it. And do you remember when I did it? Remember when you had that Ben Pekulski conference over by the airport?
Yeah.
The next weekend, I signed up and did my personal training certification.
So me and Shaun have known each other since I was probably about 24. So we've known each other just under 20 years. Shaun, walk us through a little bit of that journey. So you then had all your surgeries, then you started working full-time did you go back to school or did you just start working full-time for the federal government?
I just started working full-time for the government, and it wasn't what I wanted to do, but I appreciate what it did. It got me back on my own 2 feet. About 2 or 3 years in, I'm like, I want to be a trainer. So I went and got my trainer certification with CanFit Pro. And then I would sort of do it as a side job for years. And then it started to build, it started to grow. And then I got to the point where I'm like, I can't handle both of these. What am I going to do?
And so
my girlfriend and I sat down. I said, let's go for it.
So how long did that take? So you worked for the federal government, you did the PT on the side. I remember when you were taking your courses, we would go to Connie, who was one of our guests already on, we would go to her Activate and we would talk gym stuff all the time. So how long did it take you to go from federal government to full-time being a trainer?
I did both for about 13, 14 years.
Wow.
And it was just because it was a big risk. Yes, the government job wasn't what I wanted, but it was stable, it was good. And then when COVID happened, I'm like, you know what? I'm going after what I want to do. Let's go.
So at that point, how many clients were you training before you decided to make that jump from, okay, I'm leaving the government, I'm going to live the life I want, I'm jumping in, I'm doing my passion at 100%. How many clients were you at already?
So that was the other reason, because I was working 7 to 3 in the government job, and then maybe 4 to 7:30 at the gym. I was burning myself out, just working 12-hour days, and I had nowhere else to put anybody else. So I had about 3 or 4 a night, and I had maybe one night off a week.
All right. So you grind it. You are the dream, right? So now you're full-fledged into it. So how long? So you've been doing it for about, so COVID, when did it start? Like the day that COVID closed, or how long into COVID did you
I
actually
quit. We left during COVID. It's been about 2.5 years now.
Okay.
It took a while. Like, it started off pretty slow, and I was trying to juggle too many things at once. A lot of people thought that I was crazy trying to train people with disabilities. Like, it's not a big enough industry, Shaun. It's not going to work. And I kind of listened to that for years. But COVID and everything that happened, I'm like, you know what? Why am I listening to these people? I've been through everything else. I've gotten through all this other stuff. Why am I listening to this? I'm going for it. Let's go.
And so you were training general population before, or was there a certain demographic before you were working with people with disability?
It was a mixed bag. I had general population. I had a couple of athletes. I had the very first client I had was a person with a disability, and that's where it sort of went off my head. Like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was going to grow enough, and then I changed my mind, and look what happened.
And so then now you're 2 years into training people full time, and you're obviously helping people with disabilities. So let's kind of ask some questions about what are some things that you have done with them that have, what are some of the habits that you help them install or give them as recommendations as people with disabilities? What are some of the changes that you have heard feedback from that they have done and said to you, hey, that really helped, whether it's obviously the parents or them themselves? What are some of the changes that you helped them install that they've told you feedback that, hey, this helped us the most?
Well, the first one is busting myths, because a lot of them are told, okay, because you have this, you can't do this exercise, you can't do this, it's not safe to do that. It might be a bit of a process to get you to it, but yes, you can. So trying to give them some confidence, being told all these things they were told they can't do, yes, you can. Adding some more meaningfulness to their days. So a lot of times after high school, during high school, you have programs, you have a worker, all that stuff, things sort of go blah. It's giving more meaning to their days, a reason to get up, a reason to get moving, just a little more energy, things like that.
So you help them change their mindset, right? Just,
yeah,
because they've been told, and I think that that's a common story that we start to hear from a lot of clients, or just in general people, the stories of them breaking through the plateau, or how did they do it, was just they stopped believing everybody and they just said, I can do this. And so you help them change their mindset. Now, what about nutritionally? What are some, have you ever helped them? Obviously, it's a different ball game for you, but I'm sure through your own journey, you've learned some nutritional tips that have changed the way you feel and how you have been able to conquer your own disabilities. What are some of the things that you've installed with them or had a chat with them about, and they've given you feedback that really helped them?
Yeah, and that's one of the it's a different ball game working with my
100%.
clients, because once they get into their certain foods and their eating habits, it's really hard to get them out.
Okay.
Because they're very set on what they like, what feels right when they eat it and stuff like that. But the biggest one was just adding protein. Whether we had to use a supplement or whether we had to do, they were not eating enough, and they weren't recovering very well from their workouts. They're sluggish and tired all the time. I'm just a big protein kind of person. It took some work with some of them, but once they get in the groove, it just changes everything. You can just, one of my clients, Wesley, it was hard to get him out of eating something besides hash browns and fries and stuff. And once we put the protein in, he came in 2 weeks ago and said, look at these. And his biceps are all jacked. And I'm like, that's because you're eating your protein, buddy.
So I think that's a common theme across the board, right? Is once health professionals recommended their clients to eat a little bit more protein, the general feedback is the client does feel a lot better. I think every guest that we've had on so far has said the same thing, that once we recommend to our clients that they eat a little bit more protein, they've really noticed the difference. Let's talk about training then. So what do you get when you're working with someone, and what are some of the challenges that they face when they walk into the gym, right? So are you working with kids that are done high school? Are you working with all ages? Tell us a little bit about what your age and what your challenges are when getting in the gym, because these people have been told not to work out, don't do, anything strenuous. So what are some of the things that you do with them that kind of get them, getting fit and getting strong and getting them to be mentally also strong?
So the scope is crazy. I've worked with kids as young as like 5, 6 years old, and then I've worked with older people in their 70s. So it's all over the place.
And so what are So what are some of the things that you do with them in the gym? So is it just
So one of the biggest differences about how I train my clients and just a general population is that a lot of the times I have to train with them for them to get more comfortable. I've got to show them the lifts. I've got to do it with them to go, okay, he can do it. Now I'm going to try it. And that's how they get more comfortable. Like I had one guy that would not touch it. He wanted to try the bench press, but he just didn't feel comfortable getting out of the bar. I'm like, here, you watch me, you're going to spot me. I'm going to do it. And we did the whole workout together. And he couldn't even get the bar off his chest when we started. He hit 130 last week.
And how long did that take him?
That took him about 8 months.
That's amazing. So you're just basically doing it with them and just getting them in there and making them move, right? It's
And then
pretty amazing.
a lot of times they'll come in with their phones and go, look, it says that I can't do this. Don't listen to these guys. You're with me now. Forget about it.
Yeah. So you just get them just disbeliefs. And so in terms of your health, what are some non-negotiables that you do for your health that you will never, ever not go without a day? What are some of the things? Because obviously you've had a unique past history. What are some of the non-negotiable health habits that you keep every day? Just give us, what are your 3 favorite ones that you've noticed the biggest difference with?
Well, you got to know one is fish oil.
Yeah.
Tablespoon in the morning, tablespoon at night, every day till I die.
Yeah. And so why is that? Tell us that journey of fish oil for you.
So when you and I met, I was having, 15 seizures a day. The surgeries and the meds were getting it down, but we were missing something to get them to completely under control. We started the capsules. I went about a month without a seizure, which was unheard of. And then a week where I'd have a whole bunch, and a month on and off, on and off. And then I switched over to the liquid, and I haven't had one in 15 years.
And so what's your, in the medical community, like what are your doctors telling you when you tell them that? I'm interested in that story.
If you would have been there the day I told my neurologist I haven't had a seizure in 6 months, it was like a scene from a movie. He literally just, and he didn't move for a good 10 seconds. I was like, what is this stuff? We're going to try it on everybody. And the biggest thing is that I don't think it was just the fish oil. That was just a piece I was missing to get into the groove, and then boom.
So fish oil is number 1. What's number 2?
Exercise. So it doesn't always have to be a workout, but I'm always moving. Yes, when I say workout, some of them are high intensity, some are low intensity. Sometimes I'm just doing mobility. I'm an outdoorsy kind of person, so I can walk and all that kind of stuff. I'm very rarely, unless I have a crazy week and I'm burnt out, will I have a day where I just sit down and do nothing. I'm always moving.
So do you plan, like, do you have a certain amount of minutes per day, or is it just every day I got to do something? So would it range from 5 minutes to 30 minutes to an hour, or is it just,
usually it's about an hour on my training days, and then the days where it's more low key can be like a half an hour, 40 minutes.
And so what type of lifts do you like? I know you're a big power lifter. So
you just call it powerlifting. It's Olympic lifting.
Olympic lifting, sorry. You do Olympic lifting. You're right. Sorry. You're right. My bad.
So yeah, that's my bread and butter. I just competed back in August for the first time in a couple of years. So I live and die by my Olympic lifting. I've taught a lot of my clients how to do it too. A lot of them were terrified with it. And once they get the hang of it, they love it. So that's what I'm a big strength advocate.
And so number 2
snatching, clean and jerk, deadlifts.
So number 1 is you do fish oil. Number 2 is you do some type of workout per day. What's the third thing that you are non-negotiable about? Protein.
I listen to Kyle. I'm the same about protein every meal. I don't feel the same when I don't eat I get too hungry. When I get out of that habit, I get all snacky and I want to eat this, I want to eat that. But when I eat my protein, I'm fine.
And so do you weigh it? Do you measure it? Do you freelance it? What is it that you do to make sure that you get the right amount of protein? Or
I freelance it now. I waited for years, but now I've been in such a groove for years. I know what I need and what I don't need.
In terms of, I want to dig into something that's probably a little bit different than what I do with majority. I want to know your mindset, because you've faced a lot of adversity, right? And I think that there are people out there who are facing that same adversity as you do. And I think we all have adversity in our own way. You've gone through breaking the barrier of, from being, having, what would you said, how many brain surgeries?
I've had 9.
So you've had 9 brain surgeries, you went from seizures, so to getting a full-time job, right? And then you got your passion project, you did your dream job, you got your license back, right? Because I remember seeing that on your social media, like, I'm driving again. What are some of the things that you could offer someone as advice? Someone who said, hey, Shaun, I'm struggling to lose 10 pounds, or I'm struggling to, achieve this goal. What are some of the things that you used as tools or resources to help get you through those, tough times, right? Because, I think you can tell us the story, but it's not a 1-minute story. This is a 25-year journey or 20-year journey that you've been through. So what are some of the things that you did to keep yourself strong throughout those ups and downs?
Well, a lot of people feel that they're alone when they're faced by certain difficulties in life. There are support groups and services all over the city for almost everything. And I met tons of people with epilepsy, Ottawa, Carleton, that had epilepsy, that understood what I was going through, that understood my mindset. And to understand there's other people going through the exact same thing that I'm going through, helped sort of shift my mindset. Okay, I'm not the only one. I can do this. And then just not listening to all these things in your ear saying you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't. No, it's your life, it's your body, it's your choice. You can do anything you want. It's not an easy mindset to get into. I'm into it because I've survived all those brain surgeries and all those seizures. But it's telling yourself that it's your choice. You don't have to listen to anybody that tells you can't do something.
So you surround yourself with better people. Did you write down notes to yourself? Did you journal? Did you do anything like that that was something to remind yourself of that goal, or you just kept reminding yourself of the passion? Like, did you use any other tools?
I'm a very visual audio kind of person, so I'll find very motivational things on YouTube and I'll play them throughout the day. Or music means a lot to me too. I'll hear certain songs and I'll just think, all right, let's go. I'm ready to go today. I'll have days where I feel like dirt and I'm not who I am. And I put a certain song on. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, I've made that recommendation to a lot of my clients. Feeling down, or people are telling you things, or you just don't think you can do it, just go get a podcast and just listen to somebody achieving something, or some type of motivational podcast, just to kind of switch your mindset a little bit. It's a good tool.
And reading some of the testimonials and very nice feedback that I've gotten from clients and other professionals, that helps too. I go to Connie's conference every year, Activate,
Yeah.
and I put a blurb up about Facebook on it, and then she wrote something back. And honestly, every time I have a bad day, I just read what she wrote. And I'm like, yeah, I feel better, and I'm good.
So you stockpile positive emails.
Yeah.
Right. I do the same thing. I have a little inbox in my thing about motivational emails of, because we all have bad days. I think that we work with people, and sometimes people forget that, they take out their bad day on us, right? We take that in and we're like, wow, that was a tough day. And then you just go back and read those motivational emails, and it just kind of sets you in the mindset. And so now you're working with people with disabilities. What does the future hold for Shaun Kehoe? So where are you? What are some of the big dreams? What's your next big dream? Because I know you've always got something next on the horizon. Ever since I've met you, you have these markers, right? I remember the first time, like, here, I'm going to get my training certification. I'm going to train people. And then it was, I'm going to get back to driving. So is there something that you're working on next to achieve?
Well, we're in the process of just taking my services to another level, because there's so many people that need this, and I can't do this by myself. So that's one of the biggest steps we took this year. Is I have two trainers now that work on my team.
Gotcha.
Vincent and Ava, and they're way younger than me, and they're getting more involved. So we're able to reach out and be in like 10 places at once. He'll be in Rockland training one of my clients. I'll be here at the gym. Ava will be in Orleans. We're all over the place. So I'm trying to build a bigger team, because it's a big city and there's a lot of people with disabilities that need more help. So that's number one. Personally, in Olympic lifting, I want to make it to one of the masters, either the provincials or something like that. I was this close, and then I hurt my shoulder, and now I'm on rehab for a little bit, but I will get there.
And so are you training people so your services now, when people call you, you now have a team of people helping you throughout the city. So you went from people telling you can't do it, to you can't drive, you won't be able to achieve much, to full-time job, to achieving your dream, to now having people as a team with you, helping more people. I mean, that's balls, right? But like that's hard steel. Like I'm impressed, right? It just, every time I sit and talk with you, there's always something more that you're doing. And so then you're going to be are you getting more team members, or are you, like, when you say elevating it, are you getting more government support? Like, what is it that how are you building this out?
So I don't even have to send out emails anymore saying that I'm looking for help. I have people reaching out to me asking if they can come join my team. So I interviewed one a couple weeks ago that's going to start helping me in Rockland. We are trying. The most difficult part about my job right now is when people really, really need the personal training, but they can't afford it. So we're working with March of Dimes, City of Ottawa, Autism Ontario, to try and get our services at least somewhat covered under there, because having life is expensive to begin with, but when you have a medical condition, a disability, all the services, it adds up. And for some reason, they won't put mine right now isn't covered. And it's so hard when a doctor refers one of my clients that you need some training, they come to me, but they can't afford it. So we're trying to make it more affordable in some way.
What are some of the tools that you are doing to help people get access to training? Is there any support networks outside of those? Is there any places where people can help get you funding for that? Or have you tried to start your own charity to help with raising funds to help kids with disabilities to get training and exercising?
And that's another one of the benefits of going through what I've gone through, because I've used a lot of the services in Ottawa, like the March of Dimes, all that stuff that are support groups for people that need financial help. So we're working with them to try and put my services under what they cover. Right now, it's not there. And we have to be very careful, because if you just put personal training, then any trainer can go in there and just say, I'm training somebody with a disability. So we're trying to put mine under either Autism Ontario, Services Ottawa, March of Dimes, but it's a work in progress. It's not going to happen overnight.
Gotcha. So that's really where the future is, just trying to get more people out and doing that. I got great things to say about you. I mean, look, it's a motivational story, everything you've been through. And,
Harry, I'm not here if I don't meet you, buddy. That's when I listened to you and Connie last week.
Yeah.
I am not sitting here having this conversation with you, Harry, if it wasn't for you. So you got the ball rolling, buddy.
Like you put the effort in, you did the work.
We're not sitting here having this conversation if Ryan Benjamin doesn't introduce everybody.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
He's got to get an assist on this one.
I really wanted to bring you on because I feel like everybody out there kind of quits too fast. Your stories fucking hard as nails. I wanted people to share.
This is why I'm here.
So
I appreciate everybody that helped me get here. And you were one of the people that got the ball rolling.
So
when I was going through my seizures and my surgeries, I wanted to quit. My brain was saying I'm crazy, I'm useless, and you kept telling me that I'm not. You would come to my house and say, Shaun, you're going to get through this. So you were one of the voices in my head that kept me going.
So that's why I said, I got to bring on Shaun. Everything you've been through, most people would tap out. You just keep pushing the bar, regardless of what everybody says. You keep doing it. So I wanted to share your story because people need to hear. So tell us where everybody can get a hold of you. We need to share this story, right? There's too many out there who are like, oh, I can't do this or I can't do that, even me. So this is one of the reasons why we wanted to bring you on, is because I find that there's so many people out there who have told us they want to do this or they want to do that, and they keep talking themselves out of it. And, here you are. And I will say that, you're an everyday dude. Do you know what I mean? I know you're the first person to say, you didn't have any special gift. Do you know what I mean? But what you did do is believe in yourself. You surrounded yourself with the right people. You kept going to seminars. I remember you're like, I can't even afford these seminars. You kept going, you kept pushing, and you kept doing it. And now look at you, you're thriving, you're achieving all of your goals. And I guarantee there's some days that are probably hard, but you still smile like a little baby, being like, I'm doing what I'm here to do. And you're changing the world, right? You're going to change Ottawa for everything it's got. And you're changing one person at a time. And that's the best story I'll ever hear.
I knew I couldn't do this by myself. So I made sure that as soon as I saw somebody that I could see I could get something out of this that could help me push in that way, I would latch right on and I would not let go. So I met you and I'm like, oh. Yeah. I met Connie and I'm like, well, I'm going with her. And that's why I'm here.
And it's great. And so how do people get a hold of Shaun?
So I'm all over the place. So on my website, it's just ShaunKehoe.com. You'll see a little thing on there to just send me a message, and usually I get an intro and usually it's phone calls when they come to the gym. That's the hardest part, because a lot of people, when you Google personal trainer disability, I'm the first guy that's going to come up, and the reaction from a lot of people is very, what? What does this guy do? So it takes a little while to them to sort of believe on what I'm doing. A lot of people don't think I'm just making this up, and then they come and see me and they're like, oh, wow, this is actually who he works with. Because they see all my my videos. I run a lot of videos. I run a lot of.
Do you have a YouTube page?
Google, there's a million testimonials. So it's all people that I've worked with for various disabilities.
And do you have a YouTube page?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube. I'm on Instagram. I'm everywhere.
So what's all your handles, Shaun? Tell us all your handles. How do we get a hold of you? This is your time to shine. Tell us.
So it's ShaunKehoe.com. My Instagram is just Shaun_Kehoe personal training. Then there's Shaun Kehoe's personal training on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. It's Shaun Kehoe PT. I'm all over the place.
Gotcha. So we'll make sure we add all those handles. And I'm thankful for you and for everything you do. I hope this story just kind of helps people kind of just every time you listen to this. So I hope this turns into somebody else's motivational podcast that they listen to when they're having a bad day, saying, here's Shaun Kehoe, went through brain surgeries, went through seizures, went through getting his license, working a job that he just had to do but didn't feel fulfilled, and just one day woke up and said, let's go. I'm all in. And now look at you changing the world one by one. So, what an amazing story. And you know what? We wish you all the best. We're always keeping in the loop, me and you, back and forth, making stories over Instagram. So I'm hoping this will help some more people, and hopefully help more people with disability get to you and reach out to you to let them know there's hope for everybody to find someone who can help them and build a connection better for them to achieve a better, healthy life. So thank you for coming on.
Don't be afraid to ask for help. We're not all Superman. When you need help, ask for it. You're not any less of a person if you ask for help. And I'm here because I asked for help.
It's awesome. It's a great story. All right, my friend. Well, thank you very much for your time. I know you're on a little bit pressed for time because you got a client. So
yeah, I got a client here in 10 minutes.
Keep making everybody one rep better, my friend.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.